I'm here to talk about my journey through it. I'm audible, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I'm here to talk about my journey through interview preparation, then giving the interviews, and lastly about my internship experience at Google. So, yeah. Before starting, I would like to share a fun fact about me. So that is that I like to get up every day 6:30 in the morning and play badminton because I love playing badminton. And I don't know why I added this to my intro, but tell me about yourself question or introduce yourself question can be a bit challenging, and I used to find it a lot challenging when I had to give interviews. So I'll cover that also within few minutes. So yeah, I guess we can start. Push.
Yeah, before we start, just something for the audience. Feel free to write whatever doubts you have. Small doubts we can cover during the session, after which we will have a Q&A session on Slido itself, on which we will, if your doubt is quite big, so we will cover it during that. Cool. So today we have a few questions ready for you, Rim.
Yeah.
So first, maybe we wanted to talk about a bit about your interview preparation. What kind of background is required when you start preparing for your interview? As like coding, how much do you need to know when you start as a whole?
Yeah. So I would say that interview preparation is not about just 2 or 3 months or 4 months before the interviews. Actually, the small things that you do in your first, second year, uh, that will also add up to your soft skills when it comes to interviews. When talking about coding background, I actually didn't have a coding background back then when I was in school or, or in 11th, 12th. So I was introduced to programming through C workshop that was conducted by COC. So that was my first hand introduction. And initially, I would say that mass like first getting into one language, understanding that programming language is very important. So instead of going about all the different languages thoda thoda, sticking to one language and mastering that, I did that and it actually helped me. So C++ was my main language. And when it comes to your primary language, it is not necessary कि uh, कोई भी लैंग्वेज हो सकता है इंटरव्यूज में दे डू गिव ऑप्शंस ऑनलाइन टेस्ट में भी होता है बट इफ इट्स वन ऑफ द C++ पाइथन और जावा इट्स गुड बिकॉज कभी कभी कोई लैंग्वेज दूसरे लैंग्वेजेस का ऑप्शन नहीं होता है so that and after that DSA is very important data structures and algorithms so मैं I जितना इसका hype है I would say that it is worth that hype because I have given interviews जहाँ पे I was only asked data structure and algorithm questions and nothing else no other concept not even to introduce myself and that is the Google interview I'm talking about now, topics are actually, it will differ from company to company, and that research part you will have to do on your own कि कौन से company के लिए तुम interview कर रहे हो. When it and you will see actually trends कि कुछ companies कुछ topics पे ज़्यादा पूछते हैं and chances बढ़ जाते हैं. So I for my Goldman Sachs का interview I had seen कि strings पे ज़्यादा पूछते हैं. एंड मुझे फर्स्ट राउंड में भी स्ट्रिंग मैनिपुलेशन पे ही क्वेश्चन पूछा था एंड व्हेन इट कम्स टू गूगल डायनामिक प्रोग्रामिंग एंड ग्राफ्स पे ज़्यादातर पूछते हैं एंड मुझे फर्स्ट राउंड में अगेन ग्राफ्स पे पूछा था सो दैट इज यू कैन डू दिस जस्ट बिफोर द इंटरव्यू लाइक 15 days और 1 month बिफोर द इंटरव्यू जब तुम एक पर्टिकुलर कंपनी के लिए प्रिपेयर कर रहे हो बट फॉर द ओवरऑल प्रिपरेशन आई वुड से दैट okay you can go topic wise and जितना भी करो जितने भी questions करो make sure you have your clear your concepts are clearer so ज़्यादा questions करना is not should not be your goal because जब मैंने start किया था I started late and there was only a 1 month time and जब मैं देखती थी कि लोग 500 क्वेश्चंस कर रहे हैं लीड कोड पे जीएफसी पे, तो इट इज अ बिट इंटिमिडेटिंग तभी। बट इट्स ओके, तुम कम क्वेश्चंस भी करो बट अच्छे से करो, एंड गो इन डेप्थ कि कितने डिफरेंट अप्रोचेस हो सकते हैं, टाइम कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी तुम्हें आ रहा है या समझ आ रहा है या नहीं। तो दैट इज समथिंग आई वुड से कि उस पर ज़्यादा फोकस रखो, नंबर ऑफ क्वेश्चंस पे नहीं।
So you basically mean quality over quantity.
या
About
यस
how you, so
एग्जैक्टली।
did you remember how you solved each question, or was it like how did you, like मैंने ये question ये ways में solve किया था past में, so did you note it down or something like that?
वो अच्छी प्रैक्टिस है, लोग करते हैं कि सब क्वेश्चंस का लिस्ट बना के रखो कि कौन से किए। मैंने तो एक्चुअली नहीं किया था। माइन वाज 1 मंथ बिफोर मैंने स्टार्ट किया था, एंड आई डिड टॉपिक वाइज क्वेश्चंस, इंटरव्यू बिट से मैंने किया था। तो पर टॉपिक मैंने एक क्वेश्चन किया था, एंड आई एक्चुअली डोंट रिमेम्बर क्वेश्चंस आफ्टर सॉल्विंग इट। आई जस्ट, अगर मैं रिपीट वापस वो क्वेश्चन देखूंगी तो आई नो कि अप्रोच कैसा, मैंने कैसे सॉल्व किया था वो याद आ जाता है, बट आई कैन नॉट से दैट दिस पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन आई हैड सॉल्व। तो इवन मतलब ज्यादा क्वेश्चंस नहीं किए थे, बट टॉपिक मतलब ऐसा कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर था, सो दैट हेल्प मी। एंड 1 मंथ के लिए आई डिड इंटरव्यू बिट, एंड देन गूगल के इंटरव्यू के पहले आई हैड 1 मंथ, वन टू 1.5 मंथ। तो तभी आई डिड लीड कोड के क्वेश्चन, द मोस्ट कॉमन इंटरव्यू क्वेश्चन।
Okay, just for the audience, we have also asked Rim to compile a list of resources, and she's done that for us. So we'll be sharing whatever she says, things like interview bit, etc. We'll be sharing them down below, like after the session. Okay. Um, okay. What about other concepts? Because I know key interviews may they don't only ask DSA. While I understand it's a
Yeah.
very important part of it, but I understand CS fundamentals are also required, like operating systems, I guess. Can you
Yeah.
elaborate a bit on that?
Yeah, CS concepts pay also they ask, and operating systems. Then oops, object oriented programming is one of the favorite topics जो काफी companies पूछते हैं. And then comes computer networks and database management systems in पे पूछते हैं. So now what I had done, having a core background like in-depth knowledge is very good, because you might get an interviewer जो तुम्हें एक particular topic पे ही in-depth पूछे and grill करे. Luckily मेरे साथ ऐसा नहीं हुआ है, because I generally used to mention कि I'm more towards problem solving. But and what I did for these uh, CS concepts was कि मैंने just before, like during my preparation, 2 months, tab I went through the most common interview questions asked on each particular topic. The most common questions है Geeks for Geeks पे, and I referred to some playlists just to brush up my concepts. तो उसके links भी I have shared. एंड या दूसरे कंपनीज में ज्यादातर पूछते हैं, जैसे गोल्डमैन सैक्स में एंड एप्पल के इंटरव्यू में भी आई वाजंट आस्क्ड एनी डेटा स्ट्रक्चर क्वेश्चन इन एप्पल का इंटरव्यू, सो दैट वाज बेस्ड ऑन दीज CS concepts and on system design. So oops design या system design is also you can expect in interviews. And उसके भी so that is more like a discussion with your interviewer जब तुम्हें ऐसा कोई डिजाइनिंग क्वेश्चन दे। तो उसके भी थोड़े प्लेलिस्ट है, गौरव सिंह का प्लेलिस्ट इज अ वेरी गुड प्लेलिस्ट ऑन सिस्टम डिजाइन, so that also I have shared. And yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Okay, now as you talked a bit about DSA, there's this very common question about projects and CP, to some extent CP versus dev also. But what was your say in the kind of projects that you did before such getting such interviews and stuff?
Okay, so yeah, few projects. So you have projects in your curriculum या वो जो college के projects होते हैं. Hackathons, I had started participating in hackathons from second year, and I would say that it was a great learning experience, and not just about the project, but to work in a team and given a few hours, मतलब एक दिन में या 1.5 day में you have to build up prototype and you have to present what you have done. It was very helpful for me. And so hackathon projects also, you can talk about it in your interviews when asked, and resume पे भी जा सकते हैं project, so that is a good to have. And मेरे लिए तो hackathons, because of hackathons I started enjoying dev more, because uske pehle to I had just done courses and framework सीखे थे, but this was actually implementing it in a given period of time. So yeah, and I also enjoyed I also enjoy actually competitive programming a lot. And मेरा ऐसा कुछ था नहीं कि I had a clear distinction that which I enjoyed more or which I want to do more. I used to do both. And again एक चीज है कि people quite ask कि competitive programming necessary है क्या for interview preparation, या interview अगर अच्छा rating हो, ranking हो, so will that be a plus point, or I should I have it on my resume, तो chances होता है. So I would say कि ऐसा नहीं है. If you don't do CP or if you don't have a ranking, for that reason you won't be like, you won't be कि तुम्हें नहीं करेंगे shortlist, या that won't act as a negative point for you. And interview preparation may be, if you are doing DSA questions, सब कॉन्सेप्ट्स मतलब टॉपिक्स कवर हो जाते हैं, सो इट्स नॉट नेसेसरी कि तुम इंटरव्यू प्रेप के लिए सीपी करो. When it comes to me, I was doing because I enjoyed, and it actually helped me. So when it comes to online test mein itna time hai, in 1 hour you have to solve 2 3 coding questions. So with CP you are used to that, in short contests mein time hota hai, so you're used to the fact that 1 hour mein I have to solve these questions as quickly as possible. And whenever, if in an interview you are asked to write a code while after you discuss your approach, so that time also I was confident in writing the code quickly, because I used to solve used to do CP regularly. So मेरे लिए ये था
So
कि it
while
helped me.
it is not compulsory for you to do CP, you think it's a good edge to have when you are competing with other people who have already done CP. Like,
Yeah, now it depends from person to person again. लोग सिर्फ ज़्यादातर डेव करते हैं या सिर्फ डीएसए प्रेप करते हैं, and उनका भी अच्छा होता है. तो मेरे लिए this things from CP actually helped me, but I did it because I enjoyed, not for the interview preparation, I would say.
okay. So we did talk a bit about the interviews, what they cover in DSA, CS fundamentals, etc. But what about your resume as a whole? For example, there are, apart from projects, there are a few other things also, right?
Yeah,
What about your previous experience, especially Google Meto? Obviously, I understand that they would look at previous experience positively. So,
yeah.
what kind of experience do you think is needed, or is it even needed at all?
Okay, yeah. And also, Kush, before answering this, I wanted to add कि CP when I started, people generally when they start नहीं होते questions इतने ज़्यादा, and they do get disheartened. मेरे साथ भी हुआ था that I wasn't able to solve all the questions. Even one or two I used to solve. So disheartened मत हो अगर start कर रहे हो, because starting में it's normal, नहीं आते questions और वो आदत नहीं होता contest का. So what I used to do is कि जब भी मुझे नहीं आता, I used to discuss with people जिन्होंने किया है solve, and it was that motivated me to solve further and just hang in, like don't quit too early कि नहीं हो रहा है CP तो छोड़ दिया. So yeah. And yes, you are talking about resume. So yeah, resume is very important. And what things go in a resume is projects होते हैं. Having 2 to 3 projects, minimum 2, 3 is a good number to have. So इंटरव्यू में पूछते हैं प्रोजेक्ट्स पे, तो अच्छे, एंड इट्स नॉट नेसेसरी कि तुम पर्सनल प्रोजेक्ट्स ही डालो या ग्रुप प्रोजेक्ट्स ही डालो, कुछ दोनों डाल सकते हो. एंड इफ यू आर एडिंग अ टीम प्रोजेक्ट, so make sure that you have a significant contribution in that project, and when asked to explain it, you can explain your part well, and दूसरे लोगों का part का if you give overview, that's fine when it comes to projects. And apart from that, overall resume में की पॉइंट्स हाईलाइट होने चाहिए, बिकॉज ऐसा बोलते हैं एंड सुना भी होगा कि रिक्रूटर जस्ट स्पेंड 6 seconds ऑन योर रेज्यूमे. सो इन in a very quick glance मेजर चीजें जो तुम हाईलाइट करना चाहते हो दैट शुड कैच द रिक्रूटर्स आई वुड से एंड मैंने किया था एक फ्रीलांसिंग प्रोजेक्ट इंटर्नशिप टाइप so that I added in my experience and I in my interviews I was asked to talk about it so agar before your the main internship that you do after your third year अगर तुमने कोई भी क्लाइंट के साथ काम किया है छोटे प्रोजेक्ट्स पे स्टार्टअप्स में सो दैट एक्सपीरियंस विल एड अप बिकॉज यू गेट टू लर्न अ लॉट फ्रॉम दैट बिकॉज जब तुम कॉलेज प्रोजेक्ट बनाते हो दैट इज एंटायरली डिफरेंट फ्रॉम द प्रोजेक्ट दैट यू मेड जो क्लाइंट के रिक्वायरमेंट्स के हिसाब से होता है सो अगर अपॉर्चुनिटी मिल रहा है कुछ ऐसे में जो तुम लोग ने किया है ऑलरेडी कोई कोर्स या स्किल्स है एंड उसमें तुम लोग को फ्रीलांसिंग या इंटर्नशिप अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलता है so go ahead and do that will add to your skills not only your technical skills but also your soft skills in a lot of ways so
Um,
that
and lastly, I think also some interviewers do care about things like you have done in your college, like clubs. I understand you were an active part of COC when you
yeah
were and part of the core. So, like, what positions of responsibility, like, does it matter as a whole or no?
yeah it does matter push just 1 minute I'll get the door
Yeah.
hello
Hello.
yeah,
Yeah.
so yes, we're talking about positions of responsibility. So, in my first year and my second year, I was like active part of the cultural fest. So both I was in the sports fest as well, event coordinator. So all these things I had mentioned in my resume, and when it comes to your HR round, इस पे questions आते हैं थोड़ा कि leadership skills पे, give us an example wherein you have displayed so and so skills. So जब ऐसे positions of responsibility होते हैं on your resume, you can talk about that and highlight that. But when it comes to this, it's not only that it's on your resume, but you get to learn a lot. मतलब जो skills मैंने सीखे थे throughout the process of being a part of the team and giving communicating with seniors, juniors. तो वो soft skills काफी help करते हैं the way you actually present yourself to an interviewer. So yeah.
Okay, nice, nice. So you did talk about the HR round. So
Hmm.
let's move on. We've talked a bit about preparing for interviews. So let's move on about your experiences with particular interviews. Like क्या rounds होते हैं और क्या क्या होता है? Can you just brief us a bit about that?
Yes. So resume screening के बाद an interview से पहले there is online test and that is also it differs from company to company. Goldman Sachs का and Morgan Stanley का जो मैंने दिया था generally I've seen कि banks में ये होता है कि they have aptitude questions which includes maths related या English वाले questions तो वो भी होते हैं and then there are MCQs on core CS subjects. So all these जब prep कर रहे हो and you are studying core CS subjects, so that will also help you in your online test. And then you have coding questions. So coding questions तो होते ही है generally हर online test में. And when it comes to online test, number टेस्ट केसेस होते हैं एंड इवन इफ डोंट पास ऑल द टेस्ट केसेस थोड़ा भी किया तो द चांसेस इंक्रीजेस ऑफ यू गेटिंग शॉर्टलिस्टेड फॉर दैट कंपनी तो आई वुड से कि कभी कभी तो इफ यू थिंक ऑफ राइटिंग एन ऑप्टिमाइज्ड कोड बट कभी कभी ब्रूट फोर्स भी चल जाता है तो एटलीस्ट जितना होता है यू ट्राई टू सॉल्व दैट क्वेश्चन एज मेनी टेस्ट केसेस एज यू कैन डू दैट आई वुड से एंड ऑनलाइन टेस्ट के बाद इंटरव्यूज होते हैं इट डिपेंड्स टू टेक्निकल राउंड्स होते हैं जनरली एंड वन HR राउंड मेरे मोस्ट ऑफ द इंटरव्यूज में ऐसा रहा है द टेक्निकल राउंड्स कैन बी 2 to 3 एंड गोल्डमैन सैक्स का जब था देयर वर 3 राउंड्स एंड एक्चुअली तीनों राउंड में मुझे टेक्निकल पूछा था HR वाज थोड़ा when internship का दिया था. So first round and first question वही होता है, tell me about yourself question. So that question में I would say कि prepare करके जाओ. मैंने तो prepare किया था because at that moment in the interview इतना नहीं सोचता कि क्या बोलना है क्या नहीं बोलना है. So I had prepared an introduction and whatever you say in that introduction, that can actually guide your interview कि what are you more interested in. मैं बोलती थी कि problem solving ज़्यादा पसंद है, and even if you are interested in development and if you highlight your projects and whatever you have done, you might get follow up questions more on that जो तुमने mention किया. And even projects पे they ask questions in uh, interviews after this tell me about yourself question. So you can get to explain कि क्या project में किया है तुमने या internship में क्या क्या किया है. And then मुझे तो data structures के questions पूछे थे तीनों तीनों rounds में. So अगर when asked a DSA question, I would say कि फर्स्ट अंडरस्टैंड कि क्या पूछा है. एंड जनरली इंटरव्यूअर्स पूरा पूरा क्वेश्चन नहीं बताते. देर आर सम कॉर्नर केसेस लेफ्ट या सम ओपन एंडेड थिंग्स लेफ्ट दैट दे हैवंट मेंशन्ड कि कॉर्नर केस क्या होगा. So try to ask questions just to get कि what your interviewer actually expects कि तुम क्या solve करो. And start with brute force. बिकॉज जब तुम ब्रूट फोर्स सोल्यूशन बताते हो एन इंटरव्यूअर अग्रीज कि हाँ दिस विल वर्क, सो यू नो कि तुमने क्वेश्चन बराबर समझा है एंड यू आर गोइंग इन द राइट डायरेक्शन. बिकॉज समटाइम्स you have interpreted in a different way and you are solving differently. तो अगर तुम पूरा सोल्यूशन बता दो, optimized solution you are saying, and then it ends up कि your question ही गलत पड़ा था. So वो नहीं होता. So brute force के साथ start करो, and after you have talked about brute force, you can optimize that approach and discuss time complexity as well, or you can expect the interviewer to ask you follow-up questions on time complexity. And even if you are not, sometimes question difficult hota and you are not able to solve that question, think in that direction and let your interviewer know what you are thinking. So you can take 1 or 2 minutes, but don't take a long gap of silence when you are just thinking and the interviewer is just looking at you. So think loudly and try to catch hints, because whenever you are stuck, generally, as far as I have interviewed, interviewers give you hints and they try to help you. So catch on that hints and think about those, what you can do further. And okay, and keep calm even if you are not being able to solve a question. Yeah, if you have written a code and you're debugging kuch error aa gaya. So in all the situations, keep calm, don't lose your calm, and don't get frustrated or nervous or anything. And sometimes a question nahi hota solve, and then they ask you another question. So don't let the first question, if you're not being able to solve, don't let it affect your follow up questions or follow up interview in general. So anything they ask you, अच्छे से try to give it like a first hand shot. Like first question आया तो कौन से spirit में answer किया था. तो वैसे. एंड लास्टली इंटरव्यूज में ये भी पूछता है कि इफ वी हैव एनी क्वेश्चंस फॉर देम. So in that, always ask questions. Don't say that you don't have questions, because that shows that you're not actually interested in that company. So always ask questions about anything, like about how the work culture is or what the interviewer is doing in that company, उनके role के बारे में. So basically show interest in that company. And yeah, I guess that is pretty much interview experience. And also, this was Goldman Sachs का interview that I talked about. Google के interview में internship के वक्त I wasn't asked anything apart from DSA questions. So I wasn't even asked to introduce myself, and lastly, I wasn't asked if you have any questions. So that was very short and crisp, 2 45 minutes interviews and only based on DSA. So yeah, that can also happen.
We have a question in the chat. How much do pointers matter?
This is which pointers?
I think they mean the college pointer,
CGPA या C++
CGPA.
का pointer.
नहीं नहीं
सी
CGPA.
CGPA अगर हाँ अगर कैंपस पे आ रही है कंपनी सो उनका कुछ शॉर्ट लिस्टिंग क्राइटेरिया होता है दैट sometimes they don't they only allow candidates which have pointers above 7.5 or above 7 8 above 8 I guess कभी कभी हो सकता है but उसके ऊपर तो I haven't seen any shortlisting criteria and
So even including Google itself, they have about 7.58.
no this I was talking about the companies that come to campus
Okay,
Google
on
में
campus.
I I'm not sure ऐसा ऐसा तो कुछ criteria नहीं था कि on the basis of pointer they are not accepting applications so yeah I don't think it matters that much to companies uh, just your pointer they will actually look at your entire resume whatever you have done and also how you perform in the online test yeah that will matter more I guess over pointers.
We have another question. Are Google and other interviews open for only CS and IT branches?
uh, Again I don't think so कैंपस पे जो कंपनीज आती है in those companies there can there some companies have that की circuit branches को ही they allow that is CSIT electronics EXTC as well electrical as well Google का I don't think so there is any such criteria कि सिर्फ CSIT दे सकता है it's open for other branches as well having said that if you're not from core branches that is CSIT they will expect कि you have done projects or courses in the field in CSIT just to show your interest and inclination towards the branch कि तुम relevant candidate हो या नहीं for the software developer role.
Okay, so जो भी branch हो, you need some projects to show that you
Yeah.
have knowledge. Okay, that's
And
great.
courses हुआ तो ज़्यादा अच्छा because if you're not from CSIT then maybe if you don't have those courses in your curriculum so if you have certifications about about core CS subjects that will help. Which course? Courses like operating systems, database management, data structures and algorithms. So core subjects. Okay.
We have a few questions, but I guess we can answer. Do you wish to answer now, or can we?
Yeah, I guess we can answer.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Heard that
So
Google.
Tejas has asked. I have heard that Google asked CP. Was were you asked CP during rounds or just lead code level questions?
Actually, I don't know like whether you categorize a question as a CP question or a lead code question. The questions are similar to CP questions or the questions that you get in contests, I would say. And yeah, so Google के interview में whatever questions I was asked, had I had seen similar question but not the same question before. And I would say you can categorize that as a CP question or not. But अगर lead code किया होता तो भी हो जाता है ऐसा कुछ नहीं.
Mohammed has asked how many questions and badges on lead code. I'm not sure what that means, but also what is your favorite platform to practice code?
Okay, so yeah, I don't have many batches. I guess I have one or two, and that batches also I got recently. So I, I was I as I said, I didn't do many number of questions. I used to topic wise. I had done some questions. Uh, I had done most common interview questions, and उसमें भी I guess I had solved some 40% easy, 60 to 70% medium questions and 30% hard questions. So medium questions, I would say you can focus more on them because chances है कि वो difficulty के ज़्यादा पूछेंगे. Easy questions you do just after you have learned a topic and you want to see कि you have grasped it or not. And hard questions, one or two per topic is enough, but focus more on medium questions. Uh, my favorite platform to practice code. If I'm doing DSA questions, then lead code. If I'm appearing for contests or CP, then code forces. Batches तो ज़्यादा नहीं है मेरे. I haven't solved that much. I guess. Yeah.
I guess we're already at 8:10, and we had to talk about your internship experience at Google. So
Yeah.
we'll keep some questions for the Q&A session, but let's come to your actual internship experience at Google. So how was it as a whole?
Yeah, it was amazing, I would say. Before the internship, uh, actually, I was looking for resources on how should I prepare for that internship. And जितना मैंने देखा है, इंटरव्यू प्रेप के resources काफी मिल जाते हैं. Whenever you know how to get an offer, you have resources on that. But how to actually prepare for the internship, I didn't find many resources on that. And I was actually actively looking for just before 1 or 2 months of my internship. And actually, it depends from company to company, like how can you prepare. Uh, Generally, necessary nahi hota prepare karna, but I tried this that because web pe resources nahi hai clearly, so I actually reached out to people before my internship who have experience, who are currently working in Google, and I tried asking who are former Google interns. So they have an internship experience, and they can help me, what I can do. So so one of few of them actually helped me with few resources that are externally available, which are open source, which Google has made open source, and similar to that, they also use within Google. So internal tech stacks available nahi hota, but learning about the production environment, the version control system of that company, and how those features which are externally available, I read about that, and that was helpful for me. So the those who have those who are experienced and has worked in that company, those can help you. And apart from that, so generally कोई भी company में if you intern, you get enough time to ramp up on that tech stack. I won't say enough time, but you will get time. So you have to do it quickly, but you the tech stack can be completely new to you. Just say in my internship, my language was C++, but the framework was internal, and I obviously because it was internal, I had no idea. So I was given 2 weeks of time just to learn about the production environment, the version control system, the tools that they internally use, uh, and also about the product that I had to integrate a feature within a product. So that was my team's product. So I got 2 weeks of time just to understand what this code is about, what this product is serving. So that period is crucial. You have to, ramp up quickly and as efficiently and effectively as you can. Make sure you ask questions and clear your doubts, and don't hesitate to ask questions. It's okay to even ask silly questions if you are not finding solution to them. So whenever you are stuck on something, I would say ki first try your best to get an answer or solution to it from whatever that has been made available to you. So resources होंगे जो तुम्हारे साथ share किए होंगे, and try to dig in as deep as you can, and जितना भी you have done, and whenever you ask questions, ask clear questions कि क्या तुम्हारा question है, and whatever part that you have done to solve that. कि if you are stuck on some difficulty, whatever you have done to unblock yourself, first you can share. जब भी तुम किसी से पूछो ये भी share करो कि कितना progress हुआ है उसमें, and wherever you are stuck. So apart from that, हाँ, and internship में we had a lot of activities which were organized for interns, just to know the company culture, and it was even fun events. So not all the events were only based on work. We also had courses and sessions for the tech part, and also for the non-tech part, which included games or mindfulness. So that was a part of my experience, which was good. And what else? Okay, so in my internship, during my internship, uh, you I was assigned a mentor and I was working on a project. So whenever I was uh, I had to schedule a meet or I had to discuss something, I used to plan those meets. Like whenever you are actually having a meet with anyone or you are asking someone for their time, you should make sure that you plan it well, like whatever that you have to ask them and whatever that you need from the meeting, plan it well. And you can also share the agenda beforehand so that they know that what you are expecting from the meet. So that was a practice I used to follow. And throughout my internship, I was very much interested and motivated to get a PPO. So I used to try to, whatever that I was asked to, I used to try my best to deliver whatever was expected, and uh, go that extra mile कि उतना ही मत करो जितना पूछा है तुमसे या कहा गया है. So अगर तुम्हें लगता है कि यू कैन ऐड समथिंग मोर और यू कैन गिव एन आइडिया कि तुम ये फीचर भी कर सकते हो या इसमें ये चेंजेस हो सकते हैं, डिस्कस इट ओपनली एंड ट्राई योर बेस्ट कि तुम कैसे उसको इंटीग्रेट करोगे. सो in all my meets I used to ask doubts, and uh, I used to add कि मैं ये कर सकती हूँ क्या, and ask them, it's okay. And apart from that, also if I there were times jab I actually didn't have that much work, so I had done my part and I had some free time, so I used to ask that if there is any more work that I can do or anything else that I can work on. So I was assigned a few bug fixes from my team, so I did that also. And in while solving those, तुम दूसरे लोगों के साथ भी interact करते हो, and that is a good experience. So building building your network through your internship, that can also be very helpful. So go ahead and do that. And जितना मैंने experience किया है, people are very humble, and they are very open to share कि if they can help you somewhere. And जिनके साथ भी मैंने बात किया था मेरे internship में, each one of them, something or the other, they have taught me. So that is one of the good things I would say about my internship. And evaluation होता है, so project assign होता है internship में, and I had mid evaluation and final evaluation. So you have to present your project, whatever you have worked on, and you can expect questions on your project. So now evaluation may we had two things, that my host or my mentor, uh, they had to write an evaluation for me about how I have performed, and there was a self evaluation wherein I had to write ki whatever were the challenges that I had faced, and uh, how did I come up, and whatever that I have learned or implemented in my project that was expected from me. So these forms also, your hosts or mentors, they help you to actually write them and how to go about it. So uh, internship is more of a learning experience and not just you. It's not about you. You are just given a project and you have to perform or present your best. It's a learning experience, and you will learn throughout the process. So yeah, I guess that is pretty much my internship experience.
So I guess we are done with questions from what we've received so far in the registrations that we had. So we'll be moving on with the Slido session, that is essentially a Q&A where people can be anonymous and ask questions. I see that we have a lot of questions in the chat. Let's maybe move the same questions to the Slido one, so we'll be able to answer. So to the audience, this slido.com is something that I'm sending. Once you are on that site, you will have to give a code where you will find a link to ask questions. I've sent a code now. Yeah, so just you will find a way to ask questions over there anonymously. So please just start asking your questions, and we'll uh, go them go through them one by one. I will not consider the same questions again and again, like repeated. So make sure you are paying attention to questions that have already been asked once. Are there any issues from the audience side? Accessing slido.com or something like that? Okay, we've started receiving questions. Okay, yeah, we've started receiving questions, so we'll start going through them one by one. One is, how did you
Krish,
manage?
just a second. Could you also present your screen so everybody can see the questions as well? I think that'd be nice.
Yeah, just a second, just a second. I'm having some issues with that. Okay, so yeah, we'll not actually be. We need to. Has been some spam in the questions, so we'll not actually be showing the questions. But I'm sure we will cover all the questions that are relevant to the particular topic, right? Yeah. So the first one is, how did you manage academics, co-curricular activities, and DSA together, like as a whole?
Okay, so first of all, for that, thanks to COVID, academics became a lot easier. Uh, but before that, also, first year and second year, uh, I I actually used to only study like 1 month, 15 to 20 days before for the end sem and for the MST also. And generally, this is, I guess, most of us do that only. So 1 week before the exam. So that exams wala part, it happens. Uh, so itna so I didn't actually give that much attention to it. But maintaining a decent pointer is good. Like 9 plus है तो काफी है, and even 8 plus actually is enough. So academics ka that was not much of an issue for me. And क्या था co-curricular and
And DSA, like preparing
हाँ
for.
या सर DSA आई जब से कॉलेज में था आई गेस हमको थर्ड सेम से था डेटा स्ट्रक्चर्स तो डेटा स्ट्रक्चर्स एंड एल्गोरिथम्स एक्चुअली लेक्चर्स अच्छे थे तो वो आई थ्रू आउट किया था मैंने एंड DSA क्वेश्चंस जब whenever you are learning those topics तभी थोड़ा थोड़ा सॉल्व करना चालू करोगे तो आई गेस गुड है काफी है एंड co-curricular was co-curricular yeah first year में तो actually I फर्स्ट ईयर में आई वुड से कि बी ओपन टू एवरीथिंग. फर्स्ट ईयर में इतना स्ट्रेस लेने का जरूरत नहीं है. सो वट एवर दैट, एक्सप्लोर as much as you can in your first year. And बाकी सेकेंड ईयर में यू कैन प्रायोरिटाइज कि तुम्हें क्या एग्जैक्टली करना है. एंड मेरा बैलेंस आउट हो जाता था. मतलब DSA आई रेगुलरली थोड़ा थोड़ा, एंड बिफोर द एक्चुअल इंटरव्यूज 1 or 2 months straight. And what I would suggest is ki make it a part of your routine. So don't do it like for 2 days you're doing all like itne sare questions kar liye and then a big break of a week. I would say ki make DSA a part of your routine, that you are doing starting with 2 to 3 questions daily, and then increasing. Ki you're doing five to six questions daily. So that particular time is dedicated for DS and you are doing it regularly. Baki ka time you can divide within the activities जो भी तुम करना चाहते हो.
Okay. This another very common question that we are having right now is, how did you actually apply for Google? Where did you find the application and what was like?
Okay, yeah. So Google ka there was Google's online challenge. Google, and I actually applied through Google's career page. And after so when you apply, you have to fill out all your details on the career page itself, and you have to submit your resume. So I guess resume screening ke baad they you get an invite to participate in the Google online challenge. And I had participated in that. It was an online test where we were asked two questions and 60 minutes. And I remember that test was very like it was proctored, and there were a lot of restrictions. You cannot switch tab, or you cannot have any pop-ups or anything, or straight away test will you will the test will end for you. And one of like my friends faced this issue. So yeah, that on after the online test, we uh, I received 1 month after the online test, I was shortlisted for the interviews. So and so yeah, मैंने तो career page से ही apply किया था. People also try applying via referral. तो referrals के बाद also you get an opportunity. And
Okay.
Apple का भी था, I guess, a question. Apple was on campus only. Yeah.
Apple was on campus. It did come on campus.
Yeah, it was some NDA, so we weren't supposed to share with people outside of college, but it was on campus.
Okay, that's great. So powered referrals, we've asked a lot of people are actually asking if you can give referrals and if you will. So I am not sure.
I am not even an employee of Google right now, and yeah, and I don't know. I guess after spending a year or two, I guess they allow employees to give referrals. I'm still not sure about how that process works. Yeah, no idea.
Okay. A few people are asking for resources in particular about system design. I see one question on where to study system design. Also, I see another question on where to DBMS. Yeah, where about this resources, like we have compiled, you have compiled
Yeah,
a sheet for us, right? So I guess, guys, to the audience, I guess, guys, we'll just share that entire link on the groups itself after the talk. So all the resources for, I think there are resources for networks, system design, OOPS, DBMS, object oriented OS. That there's a lot.
yeah,
You've also linked YesGen's GitHub repo. I mean,
yeah.
it's
I
almost
referred
very
that.
famous now.
Yeah. This link that I have posted is a app made by my friend, so it's a great app for system design resources. There are all the links to playlists and yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Oh, it's made by
All
Pallab.
these, yeah, it's made by Pala. All the resources, all the links, I actually haven't spent time of compiling, but I have added the links to those who have actually done. So सारे links है वो doc में, including this.
Okay, an interesting question over here. What should be the ideal message template for asking a referral? And if you did ask for any during your prep?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and even I have that question because I haven't actually, tried this asking for referral. So, yeah, I don't know, but I know few of my friends have done it. So even I have that same question, so I cannot answer. If anyone knows, can share at how to ask for referral. I would also learn.
Okay. How long did it take you to learn DSA? And what are some techniques that help you understand DSA better?
How long? I guess from second year. So I guess yeah, one year. uh, we had in Sem 3 we had data structures and in Sem 4 we had algorithms. So I guess both those semesters uh, I learned about the topics कि क्या क्या होता है and questions. So I actually started solving late. But whenever like जैसे ही topics किया, I guess you should at least start with few questions. Uh, solving them will help. So yeah, for me it took I guess I spent a year to progress in DS. Yeah. And what was another question?
Another question that has a few words is an Apple interview experience, but like you said, there was an NDA involved, right? So I'm not sure if you can share it.
Yeah, Apple interview experience I can share, but yeah,
Okay, okay,
yeah.
that's nice.
So okay, I had three rounds. In the first round, I was asked questions based on core CS subjects and on design related concepts. And it was actually the first interview that I gave wherein I wasn't asked any DSA questions. I was asked about my internship experience, about the project that I had worked in my internship, about a freelancing project that I did before. So in the first round, I was asked about OOPS, about uh, HTTP requests, about computer networks, what happens when you type google.com in browser. Then I was asked about HTTP request response this thing. Then I was asked I actually don't remember everything, but it was basically theoretical and practical concepts, and only on core CS subjects. And my second round was wherein I was asked about my projects and questions following my project, but mainly related to only those. And the third round was HR related and situational questions. So there was nothing technical asked in the third round. So yeah, I guess these were the three rounds.
I see a few people who have asked a lot about GSOC and how it helped you get into Google. As far as I know, you've not done GSOC, but like, do you have any comments on it? If it helped or not, or anything like if it helps or not, or anything like that?
Yeah, I guess it does help, and you can add more to that how GSOC helps. I haven't done GSOC. Yeah, so I guess you should add something to this.
No, I guess I mean it does help. I mean, you
Yeah,
GSOC is a big thing, right? So anybody I've gone to interviews, people have said, "Oh, you've done GSOC, nice," and then spent the next 45 minutes asking me nothing about DSA and only
yeah,
about what I did in that internship.
yes,
So obviously it's helpful. So, but I'm not 100% sure if it's relevant to this. Um, anyway,
yeah.
if we don't have any internship experience at all, is it possible to get into Mang or any other good company? Mang as in Meta.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I guess when if you are interviewing for internship, it's not necessary that you have an internship experience, a prior internship experience, or a freelancing experience. So yeah, it is not a criteria. I don't think on the basis of that you won't be shortlisted. Uh, you should be having projects on your resume to talk about. Experience is optional or good to have, but it's okay if you don't have. When you are applying for FT, final full-time offers, at that time, an internship experience is, I guess, a must-have on your resume, and that I guess everyone will be having because for third year ke baad internship is compulsory in our college. Yeah,
Yes, at least for the CSIT branch, I think.
yeah, for the CSIT branch.
Okay, that's great. One question. So did you not appear for on-campus internships and placements? So I guess she did appear for on-campus internships and placements, and she got into Goldman Sachs. That is one of the best companies that does come to VJTI, both for internship as well as placement. It is a full-time offer.
Yes.
I think. Do you have to add anything to that, or
Yes, on-campus drive actually happened before my Google interviews. The test happened before. So the timeline was that I gave the Google's online test सबसे पहले, then there was on-campus drive for internship, and that time I interviewed for Goldman Sachs, and after that I had Google ka interviews.
so you already had this on-campus offer before when you were interning, like interviewing for Google?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um, Views about a second year internship. Some internship in the summer of second year if you get an opportunity or something like that. What are your views on that?
Yeah, I guess I actually did a freelancing project or internship kind of a thing for for 1.5 to 2 months in the summer. That is after second year, and uh, so what happens is if you are interning at that time, you will have to make sure that you give enough time to interview preparation as well, and DSA, and that interview preparation doesn't get hampered because of your internship or freelancing. But I interned from, I guess, from May to June. So yeah.
Yeah, I
So
remember it was under Mr. Rahim, right?
yeah,
Right, right.
that only. So you can actually, if you are giving enough time to interview preparation, then there is no harm in interning or doing a freelancing project, because that experience will also help you, even not mainly only in your interviews, but overall for your skills as well, and for technical as well as the soft skills that you learn. So, having said that, it is not a must-have, but it is good if you are interning somewhere.
One more thing, and I think this is quite relevant. How many times can I apply in FANG companies in a year, half year? About that, like there's a cool down period as far as I know.
Yeah, there is a cool down period. Uh, I guess it differs from company to company, and you can check if you are rejected from a company. If you are if you appeared in a company interviews and you get rejected, then there is some companies have, I guess, half a year, or some companies have a year. So that you will have to check for each company. For Google, for Google, I will check. I actually forgot. So I guess it is half a year mostly. Yes, okay, it's 9 months. Yeah.
Okay, so if you don't get selected in the online test itself, so you can apply again, right? Cool
Uh,
down period applies only for your when you get rejected after interview, right? Or
uh,
is it also applied to online test?
yes, I guess I will have to check. I don't know, but
Okay.
mostly I guess it should be on your application. So if you have applied and if you get rejected anywhere in the process, I guess then it should be 9 months.
Oh, okay. Okay.
mostly, as far as yeah. We'll have to check. I guess it will be on the careers page.
I we have another question from, I'm not sure what year. How to spend time between internship and placement season productively?
Sorry, what?
How to spend time between internship and placement season productively? The time this you get between once your internship is done and before placement season comes. I'm not sure if you get any time.
Yeah, you don't actually. So what happened with me was my internship was 10 weeks and it started also late. And I remember my internship was till 6th of August. Uh, but if if you are interning in the on-campus companies, they generally end earlier. But once your internship ends, uh, you will have, I guess, a month or less than that before the on-campus interview drive starts for full-time offers. So you will have to, during your internship, you will have to prepare for the interviews. And I guess Morgan Stanley and some other companies, they have interviews also after the internship for getting the PPO. So you will have to prepare for interviews. I interned for Goldman Sachs during the last week of my internship at Google. So yeah, yes, that was the main week wherein everything was coming up. So you will have to, divide time, and yes, will have to take that pressure. I
One question is from the 2024 batch. What should be the approach for upcoming on-campus internships program for 2024 batch? If I have zero projects but knowledge of C++, learning DSA and web dev, like the person is currently learning DSA and web dev right now and has knowledge of C++, but no projects, I guess, so far.
So 2024 batch means the person is in second year right now.
Yeah, the second year. Like
Okay.
that'll have internship season this June, July.
Okay, okay, yeah. So I would say yes, continue your preparation with DSA and getting familiarized and mastering one language. Projects, I would say that what is now? It's March. Yeah, I guess you have few months left, so you can work on one or two projects. If you are saying that you currently don't have any projects, I would say two projects are good to have on your resume, and you have time, as we can say right now. So yeah, I would suggest that if you are getting the time, you can add projects to your resume and continue with DSA.
Would you say the same question, the same thing for the upcoming people with placement season?
uh, so what if they're
Like,
not having a project to add that?
no, I am not sure. It's just a question about. Just wanted to ask, what's your advice for students appearing for this placement season? It's a similar question.
Okay, yeah. So I didn't actually get the question, like how to prepare, or
The question
what
states,
exactly for the.
congratulations, Rim. Just wanted to ask what your advice for students appearing for this placement season. Any tip?
Yeah, I would say all the best and prepare well. And also, I would say give your best to each interview or each online test that you appear. And even if you are not, if you are not selected in a company, don't get disheartened. So we have a lot of companies, and the season will so that when as soon as the placement season starts, it is, every day you have to give an online test of multiple companies, and then interview after interview. So it is an exhausting and a tiring process. And I would say that just hang in there and don't get disheartened, I would say, because yeah, after a rejection, giving another interview a next day, that would be like a difficult task to do. So all the best and prepare well. And regularly. Just prepare regularly, and that will be helpful, I would say, at this point of time. Yeah.
Next question. How did COC help you in your journey? Well, now I remember you were, as I remember, you are an active part of the COC core committee, and
Yeah.
you've taught me also in quite a bit of workshops and all that. So, how did COC help you in that journey?
Yeah, as I said, the first I was introduced to programming through COC, the C workshop. So in my first year, I had attended all the events, all the workshops, even the code hunt and everything that was organized by COC. So and in my second year, I actually uh, taught various concepts during the workshop. So first year was actually teaching getting being taught by the seniors, and जब second year में we had to conduct workshops. I guess that was a great learning experience because जब पढ़ाना होता है ना कोई concept, so I guess तभी you do your best to uh, find answer to all the possible questions जो तुम्हें कोई पूछ सकता है when you are teaching a concept to someone. So I guess that came when I taught pointers in the C workshop. So pointers had always been a topic which I used to think कि इतना नहीं आता यार. There is something that I still don't know, or complicated about this pointer. So when I had to teach that to you guys, that was the time that I इतना अच्छे से मैंने pointers किया था. So that those are the things that I guess, yeah, COC helped me, and also about the opportunities like that I get to interact with the juniors or with the seniors and learn from their experiences. So hackathons के लिए भी there was a thing organized जहाँ पे we had asked questions because we were new to hackathon, so we had no idea कि actually होता क्या and करना क्या होता है. So that was also, our seniors gave us tips कि क्या करना चाहिए and कैसे. So I guess navigating through all these, things, opportunities, interview preparations, learning, getting introduced to development, getting introduced to competitive programming, all these things are, I guess, COC has helped me a lot, I would say. Yeah.
Um, so I just remembered an anecdote actually. So you did talk about the HTTP response question today, right? In your Goldman Sachs. So if you remember, I texted you right
Yeah.
after my Goldman Sachs interview. So COC has this thing called as internship experiences, interview experiences for both placements as well as internships. So when once she got selected into Goldman Sachs, the students at that time, the COC heads at that time, they asked her to give some written content about how the interview was and all that. So we have that all compiled. And just before my interview experience, uh, just before my interview, for the internship at Goldman Sachs, I went through it and I found your like some interviewer had asked you about this question about how HTTP responses and all that works. So I realized I didn't know that, and I actually just googled it. I just randomly googled it 10-15 minutes before the interview, and I was very surprised कि same company में same question आया. I guess it's a common occurrence.
Yeah.
So if you have things, we will share the link obviously.
Yeah,
But
that in COC internship guide, interview guide, I guess that is the link. That is the second link in the resources that sheet I have compiled. So that archives helped me a lot. मैंने सब seniors के archives सब companies के पढ़े थे. So idea आ जाता है कि interview में कैसे पूछते हैं and how to answer questions.
okay, that's great. Uh, Uh, I guess a few last questions. All of them look like they are some versions of what we have already covered. So we'll just be sharing the recording of this lecture afterwards. So just if you have a question that was not answered, it probably is something that has already been covered in the lecture, like in the session or in the Q&A part. So one question is, what is more important and has more value amongst the following? GSOC, research internship, or a software internship? Just wanted to say something. GSOC is a software. It can be considered to some extent like a software internship because you are working on software. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Regarding research internship and software internship, any views on that you would
Uh,
like to comment?
what was the first line of that question?
What is
How?
more important and has more value amongst the three?
Okay, yeah. So I guess importance and the value will be when it comes to the candidate. One.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, so I was saying that what will be more important or valuable will differ from person to person. If so, and it will change if if you are planning. It will depend on what you are planning to do next. I would say that if you are uh, after your engineering, after your 4 years, if you are planning to do masters or anything in the field of research or PhD, I would say that this is my opinion. I'm not sure. I might be wrong. I might be correct. So if you are doing, if you're going to do anything in the field of research or PhD or masters, I would say that research internship might add more value over there. And if you are looking for a corporate experience, and if you're going to join corporate or full time as a software developer, then I guess software internship would be adding more value. So I guess to choose which to do, I guess it would depend on you that what is your plan. I guess after 4 years.
Okay, okay, that's great.
And you can do both as well. People do different things and make time for both of them. So if you are doing both, you get to explore where exactly your interests lie and what you enjoy more. Yeah.
One very unique question that I found is, please share your views on the importance of a LinkedIn profile.
Okay, LinkedIn profile. Yeah, I guess it is important. I, improved my LinkedIn profile before the interview drive, I guess. Yeah, for internship interviews. So I have seen that if you have a good LinkedIn profile and you have, uh, an active LinkedIn profile wherein you have your education, experiences, projects. Uh, there are recruiters who are finding candidates for certain role, and you can get uh, you know uh, interview opportunities or interview opportunities or online test opportunities for certain companies through LinkedIn. And I actually received the similar in a similar way an offer from a recruiter. uh, so yeah, having a good LinkedIn profile helps in those ways. uh, when I just before my internship, I had seen that this there was this thing that people post wherein candidates comment interested or anything like if you comment on someone's post, you might get interview opportunity. That is not true. But if you have a good profile, you can and with a good profile, if you are connecting to a recruiter or connecting to someone who is experienced within any company, it would be more impactful, and the chances of you getting a proper reply and getting what you actually asked for, it increases if you have a decent LinkedIn profile. So yeah, more opportunities and more I would say you can get more benefit if you have a good decent LinkedIn profile, because अगर वो नहीं होता तो कभी कभी तो reply भी नहीं आता. So people, generally recruiters are, filled, spammed with a lot of uh, connection requests or messages. So for standing out, I guess चाहिए. I guess it's similar to कि you maintain a good resume क्योंकि you want to stand out. So yeah, I guess that's it. होना चाहिए LinkedIn profile.
Okay, I guess we're coming to a close on the questions that we have because we don't have a lot of new questions. Okay, tips for getting PPO in a company which one is already interning.
या पीपीओ के लिए आई गेस मैंने इंटर्नशिप एक्सपीरियंस में भी कहा था कि द थिंग्स दैट आई हैड डन was कि जब deliver that extra, जो भी whatever is expected, you deliver more than that, and जो भी task assign किए है do it जितना हो सके उतना अच्छा, and interact with the way you interact with your mentor, and I guess those skills also matter because अभी कंपनी टू कंपनी डिपेंड करेगा बट गूगल में द conversion was mainly on your mentor's evaluation response, like whatever the review that you receive from a mentor, and from other team members or the seniors that you have interacted with, it depended on that, and also on the and that I guess that evaluation depended on the project you worked on, and how you actually how you reacted to all the challenges that you faced or the tasks assigned to you. So the way you perform in your internship, that will highly, you know be the factor affecting your PPO. And so Google में भी हमको नहीं था ऐसा कि इंटरव्यूज वर ऑप्शनल, लाइक इफ योर मेंटर आस्क्स कि इंटरव्यू करना पड़ेगा ये कैंडिडेट को, देन यू विल बी कॉल्ड फॉर इंटरव्यूज, अदरवाइज यू कैन ऑल्सो गेट अ डायरेक्ट डायरेक्ट पीपीओ, और यू माइट बी रिजेक्टेड. सम कंपनीज में इंटरव्यूज होता है. So the way you, I guess, perform during your internship, that will be the main factor PPO के लिए.
Okay, so I guess we are gone much ahead of our planned time,
Yeah.
and we don't want to take much of your time anymore. And a lot of the questions that remain now just are essentially about the same questions about where to learn DSA things, and that is again content that we'll be sharing on the groups afterwards. Lastly, to all the people remaining over here, so this was just a start to what COC plans to do a whole series like of tech talks as well as a content on DSA interview experiences and stuff like that. So I'm just informally announcing it right now. We have a DSA CP workshop that comes up every year. Yeah, it is like it happens every year. At my time, Rim and all the other seniors taught us, and now your SYs will teach you. So, sorry, the TYs will. This is a workshop for the SYs that is coming up. I'll stop the recording now, and thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking this time out for helping us out with all these tips as a whole, Rim. So yeah, guys, glad you all enjoyed, and yeah, we are ending this talk now.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk to you guys. Yeah, thank you.